September 5th, 2016. You're looking at solar images from the SDO, guys. These are Earth facing. We've been watching that filament for a few days in the top left, but what happened today, a filament quickly developed kind of out of nowhere and released. Now, it released from the bottom side, and what that's going to do is kind of give the Earth a glancing blow. Let's take a look at this. Just kind of backing it up. There's your release. Now, what's key is the release point, which is the bottom. And if the bottom releases first, that in the top maintains its stability to the end of the complete eruption. It's a whip-like motion, and it's going to throw it upward. Now, we're not level with the sun's equator. We're slightly south of that. So we're going to have effects from this, and it's already, as far as the impulse of it, crossed the ACE satellites. Notice that from 2200 hours last night through midnight at 00, we actually had what you would call a spike on the ACE satellite. This is designed to be an early warning system, and now we've had a 5-point plus in the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Check out the sun diving comet. As it comes in, you can see it almost dissolve away. What happens is with that tug, you have two things happening. One, you're seeing the glare of the sun start to hide it. The second is it will break it into hundreds of different smaller rocks that will become a meteor shower. And most meteor showers that we encounter can be traced back to one super comet. But here it is coming in. Now think about the size of that, and that's the glow. You're seeing the nucleus and then the outer comma of this thing, but the size of the sun, again, the white circle, and as you watch this comet come in, it could be the size of our planet. They always try to put them in a category of about 3.5 to 5 kilometers on every comet you see. But guys, the Earth would not appear that large, that close to the sun. Now, if you guys on the East Coast, the remains of Hurricane Hermine are now what they call a post-tropical, but it's pushing tremendous amounts of water and wind back east and south. Look at the curvature of these lines. We're going through last night and up into the latest images. Now, there's a battle occurring here. One is to the far right of your picture, and that's the airstream that would take it up and push it out into the northern Atlantic. The other is the warmer Gulf Stream that's pulling it left. Guys, what's going to happen is for the next 2 or 3 days, and if you look at where Manhattan Island is, this storm is being pulled into much warmer water. This water to the right is dropping down to around 59 degrees, 65, 59, but it's 80 degrees over the Gulf Stream, and these things are like living, breathing organisms. They sense that heat. But look at the left quadrant and the top quadrant. Overnight, these storms built up, and if you notice in the very top center of the screen, we're getting 35 knot gust at this point. Now, there's a battle going on between the hot water to the left of your screen into the Gulf Stream and colder water to the right. Now, you would think that the warm water would win out, and it is now. But with that cold water, you've got that north movement of the airstream. Notice this, just like a tornado, and so it's decided to move left. And that particular cooler air moving north may keep it trapped here. Either way, several days of high surf all the way down the East Coast, rip currents, rain, wind, high tides piling up into the bays. Now, notice your timestamp. Started on the 5th, which is today. We're now at the 6th, still lingering off the coast. That's the problem. Now the 7th, now the 8th. Look at the location. It's still off of Manhattan Island, guys. If it continues with the massive rain bands, there could be record flooding from this particular event. Now, this model, which is also the CMC model that shows you the purple spaghetti model, shows the front coming up into the Gulf, hitting Texas. Another one off the East Coast, and another one coming off of Africa. Now, what we're watching now, which would be a strike around 911, would be this front. It's Invest 92, and as it moves into warm waters, the spaghetti models have it a couple of different tracks, some into Texas, Mexico, but two curving it north. So remember how Hermine did, guys, it changed day to day, but it ended up hitting where we first talked about, coming into the Florida Panhandle. Now, with the wave that you saw come off the sun, the coronal mass ejection, or the filament release, excuse me, after that, starting at 1500 hours today, we started seeing these quakes. Notice the timestamp, and this is what happened. At 2200 hours, we saw almost an override where it blanked out as far as the information coming across a satellite. Remember, guys, this satellite is between the Earth and the Sun, and it gives us an early warning system. Now, what we've got, that's the scenario that's setting up, is sunspot 2585 is now beta gamma. That gives it the ability for larger flares. If it goes to a triple configuration, then the chance of X flares will go up. Here's the third key. CERN is running hot and heavy. At 2241, you're looking at 341 Central Time or 441 on the East Coast. That's the difference in the timestamps that we're looking at here. You're looking at beam 1 and beam 2 of CERN. Notice in this section here where it says in the bottom right, instantaneous luminosities. In the red, it's called the targeted luminosity. But you see that it's delivering in the green much more at Atlas and at CMS, two of the largest machines, and Atlas is the largest machine in the Earth, on the planet, guys. Now, why is that important? Because there's a major filament coming around that I showed you that's from the equator up on the sun. And these are called magnetic connectivity points. The blue one is Earth, and there's actually a plasma tube that connects the Earth to the sun. The other ones you can see Venus, Mercury, Mars, and they're all color-coded, guys. So as we look at this filament, now the bottom was the one that was released, but the big one is still intact. Right now, that tip is about to cross the magnetic connectivity point of Mercury and Mars. Now, we've seen it past that, but never, well, I'll say 90% chance that as it passes the stronger blue dot, which is where the sun connects to the Earth, these filaments very seldom last long. Not only that, these larger sunspots will start throwing off solar flares, some of the strongest, as they enter this magnetic connectivity point. Magnetic, electric, electromagnetic. That's why it's, again, an electric universe. Now, we talked about this in several videos. Guys, we've gotten a tremendous amount of new subscribers, and you may not have seen some of the 1- and 2-year-old CERN videos, but we've talked about how through what's called the Hall currents and the ground currents of our planet, those are generated by a much larger coil called the Earth shields, or our magnetosphere, and this giant magnetic shield around our planet, and that's what draws your compass north and south. Well, CERN again has said their shield is 100,000, their electromagnetic field is 100,000 times stronger than our planet. So as this energy from the sun comes in and strikes the Earth's magnetic field, you see the auroras, the aurora borealis, both the northern and southern poles, and all of these the Hall currents energize, go into the ground at the northern point of our planet at the same longitude that CERN is at. These underground currents, or ground currents, or Hall currents, are then circulating the upper section of our globe. They pass right under the largest machine on Earth, this huge underground coil, and it feeds into their energy system. Not only that, because their field being 100,000 times more powerful than ours, I think they're taking advantage of the energy coming from the sun. And when they start tying into that and drawing with that much more powerful coil, we see these filaments start to release one after the other. We're watching it, guys. We finally got back home. The updates are going to be coming hard and furious for the next 4 or 5 days because there's a lot going on. It's a heads up.